What a marvelous Monday, beautiful Monday here in Arkansas. We are blessed to be here and gathering together. Great crowd here for the GOATs. You know, think about this. It's pretty amazing. We start off with the head coach of the Razorbacks, which is a tradition here going back, even though the club's been around 21 years, probably about 15 years. And then we have Jimmy Johnson. You could make the argument maybe could claim the greatest coach of all time. The only guy to play for a national championship, coach a national championship, coach two teams to a Super Bowl championship. Then you come back last week with LT, make the argument, greatest play, not just defensive player, greatest player ever, Lawrence Taylor. And then we got the GOAT, the greatest ever in the history of the University of Arkansas, Darren McFadden. For those of you who don't know our club very well, we go back a long way with Darren, back to when he was an 18-year-old senior at Oak Grove. And wait till you see some of the pictures. It's really fascinating. But we love having you, Darren. You're part of our club's history. We've grown together, and we're growing old together, man. That's the bottom line. I will say this. You guys have known the public statement that Darren's made about his fight with addiction and his sobriety now. I think coming up on 2 years. Is it 2 years? 2 years sober for Darren McFadden. So I just have to acknowledge this, because of that fact, this week's is a little bit different than last week. So, for those who were wondering, so I don't deal with agents very much because I like dealing with clients directly and former players and coaches, but every once in a while we have to use agents. And this particular agent's a good guy. I've used him before. He said, might be a good idea for LT to get him a cigar and a glass of whiskey before the meeting starts. No problem. You know, he's hanging out with Michael Jordan the night before, national TV with, seeing Bill Belichick. Didn't get much sleep. Didn't stay up late, though. Pick him up at the airport. He's doing good. Didn't have anything to eat. Greg Hatcher, we watched. We had a good 2-hour conversation coming over here. So I did what the agent said, gave him a cigar, glass of whiskey. It was 10:30. And it was a double. It was not a single. They poured a double. He's still 240 pounds. He's 250 pounds. He's in great shape, no problem. So he comes up here. He's not here 5 minutes after he had hit the double out there and said, Debbie walks by. He said, excuse me, Debbie, could you get me a glass of scotch too? I'm thinking, oh boy. So I'm still thinking it's going to be okay. Until I asked the first question, I said, oh boy, here we go. There we go. And you guys see, he told me, kept trying to have, he had to, raise your mic. But I'm going to tell you, here's the thing about LT. I don't know if you guys noticed it. He probably wasn't on his perfect game, but he told some great stories. And when everybody came up here to get their picture made, was he not engaging and kind to everybody? I mean, he was super nice, signed every autograph after we were done with pictures. And he's not perfect. He's not perfect. I know some people complain. I said, this is what our club's about. You come up here, we accept you as you are, Darren, whether you're drinking whiskey or sober. It doesn't matter. We're gonna embrace you. And but anyway, listen. I thought he was very kind. You know, he doesn't have to come in here. But thanks again to Greg for helping. Greg Hatcher for helping him get here. But he was a mess. He was a mess for sure. But fun guy. And the day wasn't over with when we left here. Let me just say that. Lips are sealed. So touchdown clubs, always we like to, know the fact that, we're making national news. We show up around the country. This was this past Saturday on ESPN. They were showing some of the big matchups between in-state rivals, and this was the clip that they showed. And you see a little touchdown club recognition here. Nita, if you'll hit that, let everybody see that. Thanks to you for doing that. Hey, also, too, we always like to support folks doing great things in Arkansas. So today we have Eli Cranor here. He's a nationally best-selling, award-winning author. Played football at not only OBU, but at Florida Atlantic, where he still holds the records for pass yards and total yards in a single season. He was named the MVP of the Arkansas High School All-Star Game in 2006, the year after DMAC won the same honor in 2005. He's had numerous novels, Best of the Year list, New York Times, USA Today, Amazon editors, others. His latest book, Mississippi Blue 42, is a crime novel that tackles the big money world of college football, sort of gives us an indicator of what's to come with NIL. And thanks to Jeff and Lori Terry, there are 100 copies on the table today, all signed by Eli. And if there's one right in front of you, it's yours. You can grab it or you can fight for it like what we're seeing now in the ballparks around the country for baseballs and kids. But let's give it up for Eli. Where's Eli Cranor? Is he in the room? Is he in the room? Where's Eli? Where's he at? There's he right there. There he is. A great guy. He was on Paul Feinbaum the other day and did a great job on Paul, and he's a regular on Justin Akery and DJ Williams' show. Eli, continued success. He'll be selling the books. If you didn't get one here, didn't fight for somebody, you can go out and buy one after the meeting is over. Anyway, continued success. Mississippi Blue 42. We appreciate you being here, Eli. All right, this time let's bring up Pigskin Preacher and lead us in a word of prayer. Chuck, come on up.
For years, I've been one of those 609ers that listens to David, and yeah, there's like 3 of us in here. That's right. Good job, Renata. That's nice. I like that. But I always send them obituaries of famous people that have shuffled off this mortal coil. Josh says that's old man radio, but, well, we're old, so that's kind of what you do. So I sent him a screenshot today. This is who was on the short list of the New York Times obits. Leroy Jordan, Alabama and Dallas Cowboy Hall of Fame linebacker. Rick Davis, one of the singers for Supertramp, not the guy with the high voice, that's Roger Hodgson. Then we've got Davey Johnson, the second baseman and World Series manager that passed away. Mark Volman from the Turtles. Anybody remember Happy Together? Some of you. You young people, ask an old person. He'll explain the song to you. And then here's David's favorite, Tom Shipley. From Brewer and Shipley, one toke over the line. Sweet David. All right. So all of that's to say this. Tempus fugit. Time flies. What is your life? You're a mist that appears for a little while. Enjoy the good weather, the good companionship, the good food that God gives you, and always, always be thankful. Let's pray. Father, we're thankful for this gathering. We're thankful for the spirit that's here. We're thankful for David and his team and the outstanding work that they do. And Father, for those that made the food, we're grateful for them as well. Father, we're thankful for the GOAT, Darren McFadden, who's brought so much joy to so many people in the natural state. Continue to be with him, bless him on this journey of sobriety, and keep him strong. In Jesus' name we pray.
Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate that. Pigskin Preacher Chuck Monan, Pinnacle Church of Christ. I want to remind everybody, so we've had Sam Pittman, Jimmy Johnson, Lawrence Taylor, Darren McFadden, and poor soul Hunter Yurchak has to follow that lead next week here at the Touchdown Club after what's going to be a tough game against Ole Miss. All right, we got the winner there, Debbie. This is for the Darren McFadden autograph pop-up. Thanks to Rockstar Passes. All right, let's act like you're on The Price is Right, and you've won it. All right, the winner is, what's that? You are, Vanna. 041748. 041748. 041748. Look at there. There we go. Congratulations. Very nice. Very nice. Hey, I want to say thanks to all of you who've bought memberships. If you haven't, please do. Just help support the club and for what we do to bring in all these speakers. We're the only club in America that has 15 special guests 15 weeks in a row. Nobody else does that. So we can't do it without your support by membership. All of you that have the 50-yard line, Ultimate, Basic, we appreciate you. Of course, we'll mention our sponsors here in just a second. Also, mute your phones if you can. Go ahead and do that now. You can watch online, Arkansas PBS Live, the YouTube page, Facebook, Twitter, lrtouchdown.com, and, of course, on 103.7 The Buzz. So if you have somebody that's not here, wants to watch, they can. Also, Darren's going to be taking pictures after afterward. No autographs, just so it won't take an hour. But that, like I said, LT was great last week, and you've always been great, Darren, about doing that, so we appreciate that. Let me thank our fine sponsors, the best presenting sponsor in America, Simmons Bank. We've got Reggie Rose and Haskell Anderson. Appreciate you guys being here today. Thanks for all that Simmons does for us. George Macris is retiring soon, so we expect to see him as a regular Lunsford. We expect him to be over sitting with Lunsford as much. But thanks to Simmons Bank so much. Stevens, Warren Simpson's here. Warren, great to have Stevens as a sponsor again. You guys are great. Appreciate you and Curtis and our new ambassador, Warren Stevens, over in the United Kingdom. Thanks so much for all you guys, what you do for the Touchdown Club. Crane Automotive. Is Christian Crane here today? Did I hear Christian was here? No? Appreciate Crane Automotive being here today. Thanks so much. They're great. Saw them at the Buzz Tailgate Party this weekend. They do so much in the community. Number one in number of dealerships in the state. Thank you very much. Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings, 125 years of doing business. Judy and Charlie and all the gang are here. Also, a special recognition to Bill Spivey. Bill's been with Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings for 40 years, more than 40 years, specializing in a variety of specialties. He's also, helps the Community Methodist Family Health, Camp Aldersgate, and Mableville Youth Association. Bill, thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys, what you do at Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings. Oaklawn Sports have not started off very strong on my picks. AB, I may need you may. Yeah. So I was 1-3 in college the first week, 3-4 in college the second week, 1-1 in NFL. But it's the only first 2 weeks, right, guys? Yeah. So listen, download the Oaklawn Sports app and bet against whatever I say to do. But appreciate those guys, Zach and Chris and Brad and Kayla are all here today. Great to have you guys here. Appreciate all what you do in the community. We're glad to have you a part of the Touchdown Club. Summerwood Sports, the Hendricks family, 40,000 square feet of sports complex in Bryant. They're doing great things out there. Salt of the earth folks there in Saline County in Arkansas. Thank you guys for always being here and always providing a spot for Roger to sit close and get a free meal. Doublebee's, the owner Steve Lytle and Ed Light. Appreciate them so much. 34 locations throughout Central Arkansas, all branded with Exxon and Phillips. Gas it, grab it, go. We appreciate them. Sissy's Log Cabin, Bill and Sherry Jones, used Razorback supporters. I've been seeing their commercials on TV. We appreciate them. They're all over. Pine Bluff, Little Rock, West Little Rock, Jonesboro, Memphis, and Conway. New location coming in Little Rock soon. Roller Funeral Home, Renata Jenkins-Byler. Thanks so much, Renata, for all your staff and all your support. All these years of the Touchdown Club, we appreciate you. Also, the Hatcher Agency. Greg Hatcher, thanks so much. The Home of Outrageous Service. He's got so many different companies, but he always gives back to the community and always has a big group here every year. Popeye does a great job for his Twin City limo company that he owns, picking up all of our guests. Thank you to Greg Hatcher and the Hatcher Agency, Hatcher Capital Investment, Scoops, and others. Vantage Service Company, Kevin Brooks, One Call does it all. 501 One Call, 35 years in the business. You can always find Kevin by the most outrageous outfit on. Where's he at? He's somewhere over there. Kevin, thank you so much. See you right there, buddy. Simmons Bank Arena, Leanne Morgan. I told you guys that her accent was a little too much for me, but it wasn't for 12,000 other people who came to see her Friday night, so I'm not going to say anything about her. So she was a rock star. You also have Nelly coming up. I know Rex is big on Nelly. That's September 19th. And Nate Gotzi is a great comedian. I know about him. That's on the 21st of September. Check them out online. Michael Marion, congratulations on Mississippi State with a big win against Arizona State this weekend. Pulaski County Farm Bureau, Todd, Dennis, Stephen Reichert, thank you. War Memorial Stadium. Not everything was perfect, but was it not a great weekend to be there at War Memorial and this whole weekend? So congrats to John Latch and Mark Pike and Kevin Crass and Shay Lewis and everybody who was involved with that. The governor was on our show today. I don't know if anybody heard that. Governor came on our show and she goes, I want a game there every year with Arkansas State. So not sure she's going to get that, but that's what she'd like to see. So we'll see. But I'm going to tell you one thing. It was a fun day. The weather finally helped out War Memorial, which was overdue. And so I know a lot of people worked hard on that. And sorry for you ASU fans. But Arkansas rolled. It was very impressive. So thanks to War Memorial Stadium. Appreciate them. The Arkansas Democrat Gazette, we have our All Arkansas Preps Player of the Week. Amanda, looking forward to seeing him. Big numbers from him. Thanks to Wally Hall as well, the Democrat Gazette. 103.7 The Buzz. We got Justin and DJ doing the show live out there. My man Roger Scott, partner for so many years. Right over here to my right, we've got our producer Josh, even here today. We appreciate their support. No other Touchdown Club goes live. No other touchdown club does this. Do you know that? No other touchdown club is live streaming, is going live on the radio. Nobody does this, but we do. And so I appreciate the support of 103.7 The Buzz. AY Media, Heather Baker. I know that the publication on Darren that you did a couple years ago is up for a national award. And then you just also got the great coverage with Jimmy Johnson. And there's one other magazine cover coming up soon. I won't tell you who, but thanks to Heather Baker, AY Magazine, and Arkansas Money and Politics. Arkansas PBS, what a first-class crew back there. They're so good at what they do. Anita, Brian, Kevin, Tanisha, thank you so much for doing a great job every week. And JF Media and Marketing, Alicia Dover and Jeremy Flynn, millions of views that we get because of the work that they do. So I appreciate them. Doubletree Hotel. So I hope everybody sees. I spent all day yesterday in this room helping set up. Spent from 7:30 until 3:45. Every Sunday. That's what the crew of the Doubletree does in here every week to make this room look like this. So nobody else does that. I mean, Doubletree is the best. We appreciate them. Yeah, they're worth a round of applause. All the other touchdown clubs are like, man, how do y'all do all that? We're just great partners like that. Sunbelt Convention Services, Tim Glasscock, Rockstar Passes, Brad Rickett, and Joey Gonzalez. And, of course, our three new sponsors, Midtown Plumbing, Haley and Jim Coleman, and Kyle Jackson, started back in 2013. So woman-owned business. They started small. They've grown to big. Great reputation thanks to them. Arkansas Surgical Hospital, special welcome to Dr. Clay Riley today from Martin Orthopedics. What an amazing facility they have. And Arkansas Spine and Pain, Dr. Amir Qureshi and Scott Davis, great doctors, 6 different cities. All these sponsors help us get the Jimmy Johnsons, the LTs, the Darren McFadden, some more. Let's give a big round of applause to them, if you would. You want to thank Dwayne Duncan, Chris Kane, R.J. Hawks, Steve Sullivan, Steve Qualls, Design Lab T-shirts, our amazing volunteers led by Debbie Wyman. Let's give them, all of them, a round of applause, all of our great volunteers. All right, for our first All-Arkansas Preps Player of the Week, please welcome State Representative R.J. Hawk, everybody.
Well, as Rex always says, it is great to have high school football back in the state of Arkansas, and I'm really excited about this player that we have this week because whenever I first started my broadcasting career, it was at Sylvan Hills High School, and that's where Tyler Hampton, the quarterback who joins us today, is from. And guys, every time we do this, we talk about stats. We talk about, eye-popping stats that come out, and you got to hear these. So 2 weeks ago against Maumelle in a 55-54 win, Tyler Hampton had these numbers: 27 carries, 136 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And then he threw the ball 21 times. He was 21 of 37 for 327 yards and 3 touchdowns. And they won that game 55-54. Well, this past week they played Valonia, and they won that game 46-14. And in the game, he was 18 of 29 for 223 yards and 3 touchdowns. He ran the ball for 69 yards and 2 scores. So in 2 weeks, he's got a 59% completion percentage. He's thrown for over 550 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's run the ball for 205 yards and 6 touchdowns. And I know his parents are super happy. They're sitting right over here. Herman Hampton, Takara Hampton, they're both with him today. Your All-Arkansas Preps Player of the Week is Tyler Hampton from Sylvan Hills.
Yeah, 55-54, 7 touchdowns by one guy. Do they play defense anymore? Does anybody play any defense? Good Lord. All right, it's time for a recap from our man Rex Nelson. What a great weekend of football, starting back from Thursday night NFL, holy mackerel. Friday night, Saturday night, and then last night, maybe one of the classic games of all time. If you didn't stay to watch it, Buffalo and Baltimore. Buffalo wins it with 1 second left on the clock. Rex Nelson, everybody, let's give it up for Rex.
I just scared Darren off. I'm not going to say anything bad. Boy, you're right, David. What a day Saturday. The weather was perfect. The crowd, I'm with the governor. Let's do it every year. That was fun. Arkansas, 56. Arkansas State, 14. Hogs score 39 seconds into the game on Mike Washington Jr.'s 53-yard TD run, and that outcome was never really in doubt. But people hung around. A sellout crowd, 54,224, and as good a tailgate scene as I've ever seen. I've got to tell you, with all due respect, I know Arkansas is going over there this weekend, and I got many friends in Mississippi. The Grove ain't got nothing on Little Rock. We're much bigger. We're a better tailgate scene than they've ever dreamed of over there. Arkansas had a 630 to 285 edge in total offense. Talon Green, great game, 390 yards, 151 of those on the ground, 4 passing touchdowns. Green and Washington, by the way, are the first running back duo to top 100 yards rushing for a Razorback team in the same game since the 2022 Liberty Bowl. So it had been almost 3 years before that happened. So Arkansas goes to 41-4-3 against in-state opponents, 154-62-4 now at War Memorial Stadium through the decades. The average of 10.9 yards per play, that was the second most in school history, in Arkansas school history. Averaged 10.9 yards per play in that game. And Green's 151 yards rushing, 4th most by an Arkansas quarterback. And boy, here's a name from the past, the most since Mark Calcagney had 160 against Rice in 1985. I'd forgotten all about that. Yeah, against Rice in 85, that was the most quarterback yards since then. Green, 17 of 26, 239 yards, 2 interceptions. Jalen Rayner, ASU's fine quarterback, 21 of 33, 125 yards with 2 interceptions. So, we're set. Ole Miss in the ESPN primetime slot. Is that not great? 6 o'clock kickoff on Saturday on ESPN. Rebels went to 2-0, 30-23 at Kentucky. Kawan Lacey rushed for 138 yards and a touchdown. Quarterback Austin Simmons threw for 235 yards, and the Rebels overcame a 10-0 deficit. They are now number 17 in the Associated Press poll. For ASU, they got to play a team that's ranked even higher than Ole Miss. Iowa State is now number 14 in the AP poll. They go to Jonesboro on Saturday night. Yes, a Power 4 is coming to Jonesboro. I've seen both of ASU's first 2 games in person, and I don't think it will be close, but you got to admit, it's going to be huge for the Northeast Arkansas economy. Iowa State travels by the thousands. I've seen them in the Liberty Bowl. They will fill every hotel room in that quadrant of the state. It's going to be very good for our Arkansas economy. The Iowa State victories, by the way, have been by scores of 24-21 over Kansas State, 55-7 over South Dakota, and 16-13 in a great game against Iowa on Saturday. Game of the week, you mentioned it, David, in the SEC, I thought, was Mississippi State 24 and a ranked Arizona State 20. Mississippi State, a 58-yard touchdown pass with 30 seconds left to win the game. I was lucky enough to have it on that channel Saturday night. It was quite an ending. We did have another in-state game on Saturday. It was UCA 47, UAPB 7. UCA trailed early 7-0, but dominated after that. The Bears led 20-10 at halftime, outgained the Golden Lions 290-112 in the first half. By the end of the game, UCA had outgained UAPB 614-272. You probably got tired of calling offense, Chris. 614 yards of offense. That's a lot. Now, the Arkansas GAC teams all opened with conference games on Thursday night, and they went 4-2 against Oklahoma. Harding, number 2 in the nation, 49, Northwestern Oklahoma 7. I'm telling you, they're loaded with seniors. You remember 2 years ago, David, I predicted early this could be a national championship team at Harding, and it was. I think the Bisons could win it all again this year. 484 of their 547 yards were on the ground. They run that triple option offense. 12 players had 15 yards or more rushing, 12 running backs that they used in the game. They led 35-0 at halftime, and the Harding defense held Northwestern to 66 yards of offense. I could be surprised, but I don't see anybody in conference coming close to them this year. Henderson could have a playoff team, though. They beat Southern Nazarene 48-13. Reddies have won 12 of their 13 through the years against Southern Nazarene. SAU also has a good team. 49-14, Adam Parker and Hezekiah Harris combined for 4 TD passes for the Mule Riders. Arkansas Tech 32, Southwestern Oklahoma 10 in Roy Thompson's first game as Wonder Boy head coach. Roy Thompson was Ouachita's defensive coordinator and the only guy who really knew how to stop Harding in recent years. He may wake up that sleeping giant. Tech, where Eli Cranor works now, is the largest school enrollment-wise in the conference. I really think they're a sleeping giant, and they may have the coach now that'll wake them up. Game I called, East Central Oklahoma shocked Ouachita 24-22 with a field goal on the game's final play. I think Ouachita was ranked a little highly based on past performance. That's a team that lost 27 seniors off of last year's team, and so it's probably going to take a little while to gel. Southeastern Oklahoma beat UAM over in Durant 44-13. So 4-2 against Oklahoma. Our Division III teams, Hendricks is 0-1, lost 40-14 to Maryville. Lyon is 0-1, lost 47-8 to Texas Baptist. Now, SEC this week, some really good games. I mentioned Arkansas, Ole Miss. We've also got Wisconsin at Alabama, South Alabama at Auburn, Florida at LSU. Napier's on the hot seat right now. Will he make it to the end of the season? Georgia at Tennessee should be fun. Eastern Michigan at Kentucky, Alcorn State at Mississippi State, Louisiana Lafayette at Missouri, Oklahoma at Temple, Vanderbilt at South Carolina, UTEP at Texas, and Texas A&M at Notre Dame. Maybe they'll soften up the Irish a little bit before the Razorbacks play them on the final Saturday of this month. Now, Oxford, I'm going to include in on my list. It's so close to Arkansas today. So you can make it over there easily. We've got Arkansas at Ole Miss, but guess what? We got a bunch of games this week. 2 Thursday night games. Southwestern Oklahoma at Harding, Northwestern Oklahoma at Arkansas Tech on Thursday. And then also on Saturday, Iowa State at ASU, as I told you, Tarleton State at UCA, Lincoln of California at UAPB, Southeastern Oklahoma at Ouachita, East Central Oklahoma at UAM, Arkansas Baptist at Lyon. My goodness, you know what that means. Games in Oxford, Jonesboro, Conway, Pine Bluff, Arkadelphia, Searcy, Russellville, Monticello, and Batesville. That's 9 close drives. So no excuse. Get out and see a college football game this weekend.
Wow. Have we ever had 9 games in the state at the same time? Rex has got it going right there. All right. We're going to have Steve Sullivan's introduction of Darren. So one of the things that I always love watching, if you go back and watch the film of the greats. And matter of fact, hold on a second. Let me just make sure. A couple people here before I bring up Darren. I want to mention. So where's Ralph Mashburn? Where's Ralph at? Ralph is one of our most dear members. Ralph, how old are you now? 91. So Ralph has been coming, I think almost since the first year. Ralph, I don't know if he can hear me or not. Somebody can pass the message to him. That's all right. So, being honest. Listen, Roger can't hear very well either. It's okay. So Ralph has been doing a pick'em contest every game, every week for the football season. I don't know how many years you've been doing it. Nobody gets it, but he does it himself. And my mother won it this week. She was so excited. But I'm going to tell you, It's guys like Ralph is why I'm motivated to do the Touchdown Club. Right? Guys like you, Ralph. Appreciate you. I love you, buddy. You're always here. First one here at 10 o'clock. Thank you, buddy. Also want to mention the Lieutenant Governor is here, and we got to say congratulations to Coach Rutledge. He is the champion, 14-0 overall this past year, 5- and 6-year-old league this weekend. Lieutenant Governor Leslie Rutledge, everybody. Good job, Coach. Good job, undefeated. I knew you were a good coach. Now, as I was saying about Darren, if you watch great players on film, Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson, Earl Campbell, when you watch the film, you see, wow, that guy is different than everybody else. So we can talk about all the players now. Guys like this guy right here, they come along once every 25, 30, 40 years, once in a generation, guys. So I want you to look at and just enjoy Sully's intro here, because there's a few plays that just shows the greatness of Darren McFadden. Anita, let's hit the intro that Sully has for DMAC.
One look at Darren McFadden at Oak Grove on either side of the ball, and you knew he was different, a man among boys. And for Darren, there was only one college choice. In his freshman season at Arkansas, DMAC averaged a whopping 6.3 yards a carry, rushing for 1,113 yards.
Wow. There goes McFadden running away from us, just running away from us for a touchdown.
In 2006, he was unstoppable. 1,647 yards rushing, and he also became a threat throwing the ball, hitting 7 of 9 attempts. A first-team All-American, Darren finished second in the Heisman voting. DMAC started his junior year with 5 straight games of at least 120 yards rushing, and ended the regular season with an epic performance in the Hogs' upset of number 1 LSU, accounting for 4 touchdowns and 206 yards rushing.
Better put him in the Heisman. You better put him up there. I'm tired of him being number 4. We got that wood right here, baby.
Darren would become the first person since 1949 to finish second in the Heisman voting in consecutive years. His career rushing total of 4,590 yards, third best all-time in the SEC. Injuries haunted DMAC as a pro. The 4th pick in the draft would have 2 1,000-yard rushing seasons, one with the Raiders. Then in 2015 with the Cowboys, he became the first former Hog running back to register 2 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Please welcome number 5, the greatest Razorback ever, Darren McFadden.
Told you those highlights are impressive, aren't they? Also, too, I just found out that I think our Attorney General is here. Tim Griffin, are you here? Where's Tim at? Stand up, Tim. Let's give it up for Tim Griffin, everybody. Listen, great to have Tim here today. So first of all, welcome back, man.
Appreciate you, Baz. I'm looking forward to being back. It's always exciting to be back and see everybody here at home.
Yeah, listen, we have a history, and I go back and look, and I think it's great to get you in here. One of the reasons we brought Darren back this year, this is the year they decided, U of A, we're going to get into this a little bit later, decided to finally do something in honor of Darren, and it's a patch, number 5 patch. We'll get into that a little bit later, but it's this year against Texas A&M, and so I wanted to bring you back for that. And I think you can hear Rex and Chris, I think by, the audience appreciation. I don't know if anybody gets that more than you, because obviously we've never had a 2-time Heisman runner-up. So great to have you back, and we go back a ways. So I want us to go back, and I want us to look at your first year when you were at first year as a Touchdown Club. You were at Oak Grove, and we had our Touchdown Club banquet at the end of our 2004. I think we had 6 meetings that year. A lot easier to do back then. I think Rex and I and Andrew Metter spent time at the podium talking each meeting, and nobody else did. Let's show a picture of Darren at the first. Look at there. That is him. How about that? How about that? And then, of course, you know that if we're going to do a banquet, I have to have big plaques. So the next one is me handing Darren a plaque. Look at there. There we go. And then the next one, you're at the podium. Again, are you 18 at that time as a senior?
17.
17, okay. But you look at you can physically see him. And then one more, Anita, this is with him. You can look at his neck. Look at the size of Darren's neck right there. I remember looking at him, I said, oh, man. I said, that's a real deal guy. And before we move on there, I just have to go back. real quick. Go to the next, Anita, number 5. Look at this dude. Who is that guy? Who is that guy? I don't even recognize that guy. What do you do? You know what's coming down the road, man? About 50 pounds is what's coming. And then how about the next one? How about this next page? Whoa, look at that guy right there. Look at all. Anyway, but so funny. You knew that Darren, one of the things, I was able to play against guys that in high school that looked so physically different that you knew that they had a chance to be at the next level. One was a guy, you may not have heard of him, Wilbur Marshall, who played on that 1985 Chicago Bear defense. He played with Dan Hampton, and I threw the shot put against him, and he just looked. He was like 6'3", in high school, 6'3", 230, threw the shot put 60 feet, and then went and ran in the 4x100 meters. And so you look at him, and so this is what Darren McFadden looked like in high school. Tell me if you think maybe, yeah, this guy's going to have the potential. Holy, look at that guy. I mean, look at it. That doesn't look like a 17-year-old kid right there, does it? Look at those arms. Your arms are just as big there as they are now.
Little thin there, little thin.
But it was that point that I knew, obviously, that you had great potential. So we had you there as a high school senior. Then Darren played 3 years at the U of A. So every year we would have this banquet, and we would have the U of A Player of the Year. Well, guess who happened to be the Player of the Year? Let's show a couple more, Anita. This is when Darren comes back. There's Damian Williams. Remember Damian, receiver out of Springdale. That's look at so Darren's getting a little bit older. Let's go to the next one. This is him coming back. That's another one. That's with Wally. That's probably maybe your sophomore year. And then I think we got the last one here. This is you, Felix, and Peyton all together. So that's and I think we got one other that's from that same year. But it's just fun to be able to watch you be able to grow up and sort of do your thing here with the Touchdown Club.
It's a great feeling. It's funny going back to that picture there. You see with me, Peyton, and Felix on there. We did a sign together last weekend. That was probably the first time we had all been together since we were in school. So it was fun catching up with those guys. And like I say, anytime I can come back to the Little Rock Touchdown Club, man, like I say, it's people who've been following me here since I was in high school. Some of you, I probably went to school with some of your children, maybe even grandkids. But it's always a great feeling just coming back here, being able to see people that I hadn't seen in years. I ran into my old Dr. Jack Vandenshield over there, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get that in just a second.
He's a guy that he means a whole lot to me, man, and just thankful for the people of the state of Arkansas and for the support that you guys have given me over the years. I feel like I hadn't changed much over the years. I lost a little hair up top, grew my beard a little bit, and I probably say a few more words on the mic versus when I did in high school. I probably do an interview and I would give one-word answers and, just be short and to the point pretty much.
I just remember we would give away these big plaques, and about that third year coming back, I said, you basically have wallpapered your wall with these giant plaques that we've given you. And then we finally got you back as a speaker. Looking back, I think this was 2015. This is when this was the first time we brought you back just to show you. So, again, this is Darren McFadden over the years with the Touchdown Club. Hair's starting to go. And then, of course, we had you, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, and then, of course, today. And I did want to say, just you went ahead and mentioned Dr. Vandershilden. Many of you may not remember, but you had an incident. I think it was down in the River Market, wasn't it? Or where was it, downtown? Or no?
Central area, a little.
Central. So you got to a fight. You got to a fight defending your brother, though, basically, right?
Yeah, it was. So it was long story short. 18-year-old kid hanging out. I wasn't supposed to be drinking. I was drinking. We having fun. I always learned. I remember Coach Nutt would always tell us nothing good goes on after 10, 11 o'clock at night and being out. And this was the time. It was probably 3 or 4 in the morning. I should have been at home getting some rest, getting ready to report to camp. Well, it was a Friday night. We had to report to camp on Monday. It was So I say Friday night, so it was a Friday night going into Saturday morning, and we had an altercation, and basically I had an open dislocation on my toe, and I didn't know what to expect from it. I didn't know how I was going to heal up from it, anything. But like I say, Dr. Vandenshield, man, he put a pin in my toe, got me back right. I had a pin in there for 5-6 weeks straight, and.
Did you miss any games with it?
I missed the entire training camp, and so my entire training camp, and that was the worst part for me. the type of guy that I am, I want to be out there with the guys that I'm running with and being able to work with in blood, sweat, and tears. And so we had just got the new weight room pretty much. So my 5 weeks of training camp was spent in the weight room on the elliptical, looking out over the field, seeing all the guys out there working in the middle of the summer. And it would be days, it was hard for me. I would just have tears in my eyes just watching those guys out there. Just thinking about how bad of the mistake that I had made, just being selfish as a kid, hanging out late, got all these people counting on me. And I think one of the biggest things for me with that situation was having to watch my teammates do all the work in the summertime without me. And then when we getting ready for the game, I think we opened, I forget who we opened with that year, but it came like the week before the game. Coach Nutt put on a highlight tape, and it was a highlight tape, and I wasn't in the highlight tape, and that right there, it really set on me because I see what he was doing. He was letting people know that we have other guys on this team that are capable of going out here and doing things, and not having me in the highlights and showing me in there to have people hopes go up and then go down if I'm not able to play, but. I'm very thankful for Dr. Jack Vandershield. I'm thankful for the state of Arkansas, and it's just a great opportunity to be back here, and to be a mature man now, and not just a little kid anymore. But I'm very thankful for you guys, and I appreciate you guys.
Let's get over Jack Vandershield. Jack, stand on up there. With UAMS. Team doctor for the Razorbacks for many, many years and well respected. And yeah, your toe was hanging off. And I remember when that happened. It was like, oh my gosh. I remember thinking, are you kidding me? This was, before camp. We were worried about you playing. Of course, your toe, Jack took care of you, and you ended up obviously having some great years at U of A. We had Houston Nutt here with Jimmy Johnson not long ago. Houston hadn't changed much. He still got that juice to get him fired up. This clip, there was a little clip of it. And I've heard people say this is the greatest post-game interview ever done. So it's 1:30, and let's just put it in perspective. Coach Nutt was on the hot seat. He was on the hot seat. A lot of people thought he was going to get fired. Nobody gave you guys a chance to win. LSU was #1, getting ready to maybe play for a national championship. I don't know what the spread was, but I'm sure it was gigantic. Also, I think at the time, I think it was Les Miles had said Arkansas instead of Kansas. And then also Mark May and Lou Holtz, our buddy Mark May, who will be here at some point, had not been giving much talk about DMAC in the Heisman race. So we pulled the upset. There's also this baseball bat that Dean Weber had gotten for the players. That's a story in itself. And so the rest is history. Let's just go from the start of this, Anita, if we can, to the end of this, and we'll come back and hit it on the backside. Listen, I don't know where that bat is that you were holding, but it's worth a lot of money if anybody could ever find it. Yeah, that was just sort of a crazy story how the bat was just, that was not supposed to be what it turned out to be, but it did for that night, wasn't it?
So we, Coach Nutt, he'd like to say, Coach Nutt is a great motivator, give great speeches. He did this thing. We have our 48-hour meetings 48 hours before the game. We would always have a meeting. And he bought out these little bats. He had Dean Weber do his thing. He'd go in the closet and bring them out, made a big scene out of it. But, And so it was going into, I think we were playing Mississippi State. It was like the last 4 games, but it was all 4 conference games. I think we were going to Mississippi State. We had, we had LSU on there, and whatever 4 teams, I forget what 4 teams we had, but, that was one of the things that's just bringing the wood, and, so that's what those little bats symbolized, was bringing the wood, and, leading up into that week, I seen a Les Miles interview where he was basically disrespected Arkansas, called us Arkansas, and, me being an Arkansas kid in the way that I love Arkansas and represent the state of Arkansas, if I had an opportunity to say something about that, I couldn't just let that slide. I had a great opportunity to go out there and say something about it after the game, and, being around Coach Nutt, he's a guy that I love, man, to this day. I still talk to him to this day. And so when I seen him doing this interview, I just know how much he means to me. And so just being able to go over there, and I didn't know what the interview was going to turn into. I didn't know what it was. I just wanted to go up and, tell Coach Nutt, congrats, man, and I love you, Coach, pretty much, and turn into something else, turn into
That's a
pretty much
classic
an
moment.
all-time
That's
classic
a classic
video
moment,
for sure.
man. That's great TV. So speaking of the Heismans, you're obviously the only 2-time runner. I think there've been 2 2-time runners-up in the history of the Heisman. I just blank on who the other one was, but thank you, AB. Andrew Luck, thank you. So you did something very unique. Do you look back? The word is that Steve Spurrier did not choose to vote for you. Of course, Tim Tebow was one of the guys that beat you. What's your thoughts now, looking back at those Heisman votes? Do you think, man, I really got robbed on that thing, or are you comfortable with this moving on, and that you're happy to get what you got?
Bass, I'm one of those guys. It's water under the bridge for me, man. It's nothing I can do about it. I feel like I did everything leading up until that point to win a Heisman. And, after that, it was up to the voters and everybody, So I feel like I did everything. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to have a Heisman in my trophy case. Now, I would love to have that right there. But, it's something, it's the past for me. I try not to think about it much. When I'm out, people talk about it. I give my honest opinion. I felt like that I definitely should have won a Heisman one year. And so it's just one of those things. It's just water under the bridge for me pretty much.
So no Heisman, but 2-time Heisman runner-up, one of the greatest in history. Not just in Arkansas. You're a 2-time Heisman runner-up. You're one of the greatest to play in college football history. Let's fast forward. Here you are. The chatter has been around for years now about retiring the jersey or putting up a statue rather. I've been to every SEC stadium multiple times as part of my coverage for the Buzz and KATV Channel 7, and I see all the other statues, and they are Heisman, and some of them are Heisman, some of them are coaches that have won national championship. But I also know it's about marketing, about promoting the players that have been great for your program, which I love. The more, the merrier. This year, the U of A has decided to come out and not retire your jersey, but do a patch. And I think we've got it number 16, Anita. Let's take a look. This is the patch that €100 check, and Sam Pittman announced they called you and said, this is what we want to do. We're not going to retire the 5, but whoever wears 5 has to wear that. And if you would, go to number 17. This is the actual, see the stride there? That's based on an actual photo of you, which I think is cool, sort of like the Jordan, logo. So I know you're a very humble guy. And first of all, just talk about your reaction to getting the patch that every player who wears 5 has to wear.
I had to say it's an awesome feeling. First, I didn't expect to have a patch put on a jersey to honor me or anything. I don't know if some of you guys may have seen the Hog Plus podcast that I did when they were telling me about it. There was genuine tears from me. I'm not an emotional guy or anything like that, but it was definitely a great feeling because, it's just pretty much I was looking to do an interview on a Tuesday with who did I have on there? Quinn and Sawyer. With those guys, I had looking to do an interview with those guys, and they said they had a surprise for me. And I didn't know what the surprise was. I didn't know what to expect, and then I see Coach Pittman and Hunter Yurchek pop up on there, and they were telling me about the patch, and I had to tell them I'm thankful for it. A lot of people, I wouldn't mind seeing my jersey retired. I can't lie about that right there. It'd be great to see it retired, but, having that patch and having that DM on that number 5 jersey, it keeps my name in the conversation. When people see a number 5 jersey for the University of Arkansas, you can't see a number 5 jersey and not think about Darren McFadden out there in number 5. And so I think it's a way to just keep my name alive and just keep it going.
Yeah, I got to be honest, listen, you got like multiple. You got 2 number 5s on the team. I think you got a freshman receiver, and I think you got a defensive lineman. I think is it Cam Ball. You know, listen, I don't know. Call me old school, but I think, listen, 5 should be a running back number. I mean, 5 should be a running back. It should be 1, not 2. And you're very kind to say that, but I think 2. Listen, I'm glad they did the patch. That's good that they did the patch, right? But you know what? You can go from the patch to retiring the jersey too, right? It could come in time. It could come in time.
And I think with all due time, it will come. Like I said, I'm not the person to go out there and press anything. I got people who do that for me and everything. Good buddy of mine, he does that really well. But, you know, I'm not the guy to make a big scene out of anything. Like I said, I'm thankful for the fact that they did put the patch on the jersey. And, like I said, I'm genuinely happy about that right there.
And I would say, too, they're going to do that for the A&M game, which would be cool. And I do think regardless of the patch or retirement of jersey, if you've been to an SEC stadium, other stadiums, they have giant murals and photos of the great players. You go inside Auburn, you see Bo Jackson. You see Cam Newton. Your picture should be somewhere. Your number should be somewhere. There should be a statue out there. And now, listen, I know we've got money we've got to raise for the kids. I get for the NIL, I get that. But I'm just telling you, from a marketing standpoint, they're missing out of young players getting up to see, you know, hey, Dad, is that Darren McFadden? And so I just hope that we'll have Hunter next week. We'll have Hunter next week. He's not going to like it.
Put in a good word.
He's not gonna like my line of questioning, but we're gonna bring it up. But you're very humble in your talk about that. You know, in addition to Houston Nutt, another coach that's popped up on the national scene after being a little below the radar is a guy you played, number 15, Anita, if you would. This guy has come out of nowhere, and look at there. Oh, Gus Malzahn now has got Florida State from not even ranked to like number 10 in the nation. And he said, I talked to him the other day, he said it's a lot easier being an assistant coach. He gets to go home a lot easier. What are your memories about Gus in that 1 year? You know, it feels like he coached up there for about 5 years. There was so much drama and all that. But the 1 year that y'all were together, it was pretty dynamic.
I feel like we had a great year that year. We were able to throw in the Wildcat in there. It's a funny story about this. So Danny Nutt was the running back coach at the time, but he recruited me in high school, and so he and Bobby Allen, they would come and watch me play, and so Bobby Allen wanted me to play safety for him. Danny Nutt wanted me to play running back, and so anyway, Danny Nutt knew that I could play running back. I played quarterback, I played receiver, safety, everything in high school, and so he had the confidence in me to be able to go back there and run the Wildcat. So he pretty much pitched the idea. And I guess I'd say the meeting of the three minds with him and Coach Nutt and Coach Malzahn all came together, and you know, they came out of their lab and they came out with this Wildcat formation in this group of plays, man, and it was just it was an awesome formation for college football that still lives on to this day.
Yeah, so there has been a fight about credit for who gets that, and so you don't want to stay claiming that, right? You want to stay out of that?
No, I give my credit to D Nutt, man, because
okay.
D Nutt is the guy that, like I say, he come watch me in high school. He knew that I was a quarterback. He knew everything that I did, and you know, he pretty much pitched it to Coach Nutt, and you know, Coach Malzahn came with plays, and you know, we put it together.
Don't you think that made a difference in your Heisman campaign too? You were doing things that nobody else was doing. No other running back was lining up. I mean, we see it's a normal thing now, but at the time it was not.
I think it would. I think it was a big difference, and I think that's one thing that set me apart from a lot of guys. It wasn't just lining up back there and catching the snap and running. You know, I actually had to send guys in motion. I had to look at the defense. If we had a pass play call, I had to be able to read the tight end popper to know if I was going to throw the popper, decide to keep it and run it or not. So it was a lot that went on to it. It wasn't just a running back getting back there and running the ball or anything like that. I was a quarterback. I felt like I was living my high school dreams again.
Well, didn't you make? I may be wrong on this. The game against Florida in the SEC championship, you were. I think you lined up at quarterback and you saw Felix lined up. What was it? Remember that play?
Yeah. So we always had this thing where we work uncover anyway. So if a guy ever lined up, no matter who it was, we just look at each other, make sure you give them the signal, and you get the signal back. And so we line up down there. We're probably on the 7 or 8 yard line, and I look out there and nobody's over the top of Felix, and I'm like, this got to be a mistake. And I look again, and I hurry up and did, and he did it back, and I just got the ball and just hurry up. And I don't even think I grabbed the laces or anything. I was just trying to get it to him as quick as I could just to get it off before somebody got over the top of him.
Yeah, listen, those were exciting times and very unique, and don't see as much of the Wildcat or Wild Hog as we used to. Let me ask you about today's game, Darren. You know, a lot of money being thrown around, millions. And so from your perspective, what do you think about the game today with transfer portal multiple times? Of course, they're trying to tighten that up a little bit, and the money that's flowing through universities now, athletic departments going to the players.
My number one thing is with the transfer portal, I hate how guys can go from one school to the next year after year after. I hate that with a passion right there. I like how it was the old school way. You transfer, you sit out for a year, or if you go to a smaller division, you're able to play. I like that style of playing. I'm thankful for the kids being able to get paid off their NIL deals and everything, but I feel like it has to be a cap on it somewhere along the way, man. It's just crazy. I was talking to my guy Casey Dick last week, and I was telling him when we were in school, if they had NIL and somebody would offer us $20,000, we would be ecstatic, man. And so to see these kids getting six figures, man, that's just crazy.
Over the years, we've had different speakers that have come in here, like Barry Switzer and others, and the statute of limitations is up now for you. So, did you ever get anything when you were playing? Listen, I don't know. I was trying to think who it was that I don't know if we had them on the air here at the Touchdown Club, but everybody feels a little bit easier about talking about it now because everybody's getting paid. Maybe it was Eric Dickerson last year. I can't remember. But what about you?
This is what I tell people, man. Growing up in Arkansas, I was an Arkansas Razorback from the day I was offered. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. They didn't have to pay me or anything like that. So I wasn't one of those recruits that was getting motivated by money or anything. I committed as a junior in high school. I never wavered from my commitment. I was going to be a Hog regardless. Like I say, whether it was money involved or not, I was going to be a Razorback.
Had a gigantic game this weekend. History was made. Arkansas State at War Memorial. I know you got some great memories of games at War Memorial. How do you feel about of Arkansas? They got the big, nice stadium. They make more money up there. You can't bring recruits down here. Where do you stand on games in Little Rock?
I'm a Little Rock kid, man. Come on, man. I like to be able to see the Hogs come down here and play, man. I know that game means a lot to people in the southern part of the state. A lot of people don't get to make it up there to Fayetteville area, so I think it's kind of the same thing. You had a big, nice stadium and everything up there, but everybody in the southern part of the state, they don't get to see those amenities and things like that on a weekly basis. So being able to have that Razorback game here, whether it's just one game a year, 2 games a year, I think it's a great feeling. I would love to see that game continue to go on because I think, like I say, it's great for the southern part of the state, for the people who can't make it up there, the people who are getting off coming out of the bean fields and things in the evening, the hard-working blue-collar guys that don't make it up to Fayetteville. And so I'd love to see that game here.
A couple years ago, we were doing the radio show, and I looked online before the show started. I think, Roger, we were in Sheridan. And I saw your Facebook post about, hey, I just want to let everybody know that I have not had a drink in 6 weeks. I was like,
6 months then.
Oh, is that what it was? It was 6 months? It was 6 months, 6 months, yeah. 6 months, I was like, wow, this is not something you'd shared. And so I asked if you would come on the radio. You were a regular guest of ours, and you said, yeah. And that started this journey that you've had now of sobriety. How are things going, and how has your life been impacted by your decision to be sober?
It's been great for me. I tell people my last drink of alcohol was 5/18/23, and so I've been sober for 2 years now. Thank you. I tell people it's probably one of the best decisions I've made in my life. I've racked up a ton of accolades over the years playing football, and that alcohol is something else, man. Just to be able to shake that off of my back, man, and just to be able to be sober and be sitting here and not like LT the other week having to need a drink to sit up here, man. It's just a great feeling. I think it means it makes me proud of myself, man. It means a lot to me and my family, my children, just to have a sober dad in the house every day. Not being I was always around, but it just for me anyway, when I was drinking, it just my mind was wherever it wanted to be when I was drinking, and just to be able to be sober and be present, man, it's a great feeling, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, sure. I didn't put the picture in this one, but the last time you were here, you know, you said you could see the difference in your face.
Oh, yeah.
And you could tell that you were in a different place then.
Yeah.
And you look great now, man. You look
Appreciate
like
it.
you could still play. And then also too, you've been, you know, for a guy that you're not the most outspoken guy. You've gone to Wolf Street and shared your story, and you shared it with it was AY, right? On AY cover story that's up for a national award. So that's something that's a little outside your comfort zone, but you felt it was worthwhile to do.
Yeah, I'm a real to myself type person, man. But what really made me open up about it, I first posted on my social media, and then I was in the gym working out, and the guy came up to me. He was just like, "Man, I seen your post about not drinking. I appreciate that, man. I've been struggling with that myself." And so it just made me realize that, you know, I can actually reach people in a different way versus playing football. And a lot of people look up to me as far as just the person that I am. And then by having somebody come up to me in the gym, I'm like, oh, okay, so, you know, I want to be more open about this and, you know, just let people know. Because a lot of people think when you're going through your struggles with drinking and thing, you feel like you're the only person that's going through it. You feel like the world is coming down on you. That's not always the case. You know, it's a lot of people out there that can help, man. If you know anybody that needs their help, man, just have them reach out to someone who can help them. Wolf Street Foundation is a great place. You know, just somebody to reach out to and just be able to talk to, and you know, it's fun to be able to sit around. For me, when I'm not drinking, it's fun to be able to go to a meeting and sit around like-minded people that don't drink and be able to talk about things and, you know, get an understanding, laugh, and joke about how rough it was when we were drinking, you know. So there's something that keeps me going right there. You know, I just want to, I don't try to push my sobriety on anybody or anything like that right there. You know, I just, this is what works for me. This is one of the best decisions that I've made in my life that's helped me be a better person, a better father, a better, just a better all-around person, period. You know, I wish it was something that I'd done years ago, but, you know, it's better late than never at the end of the day.
Well said. Well said. All right. That's excellent. We're going to close on this. We're going to close with this, and D-Mac will do photos. But, you know, I was talking about when you look at the greats and you look at the Herschel Walkers and the Bo Jacksons, that Earl Campbells, that when you watch the tape, you go, most people don't look like that when they run. They don't have that speed and power. I just want to look at two or three plays back-to-back, 80, 60, and 70, I think. Let's just take a look at these, Anita, if we could. These are three of your great runs, and just to close the meeting out, just to appreciate your greatness. And if you have those, just punch those up. And you had several of them. Oh, this was obviously the great one against. Here we go. And just watch the acceleration right here. And those are world-class athletes for LSU that you're doing that against.
It was LaRon Landry that dove out.
Yeah, obviously NFL guy player right there. So that was an 80-yarder against LSU. This is against South Carolina. Now watch the separation. You always have that head kick back a little bit, too.
Head back and go.
and the last one, I think this is Georgia.
Alabama.
Oh, it's Alabama. No, you're right. These are Alabama athletes. Watch this. Goodbye.
Roman
Goodbye.
Harper right there.
Goodbye.
Can't get him up.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, he's one of the greatest of all time. Darren McFadden, everybody.
Appreciate
Great
you
job,
guys.
Darren.